his 70th birthday. He landed in Boston Harbor, made his way to New York City, and he struggled for quite some time. And in some time, he was able to open the first little temple outside of the east, which is at 26 Second Avenue. And although there was quite some time to open one little temple.
How much time?
Within
like 8 years?
No, like 8 months or so. Months.
All right.
Maybe a year.
Okay.
But within the next 11 years, he managed to circle the globe 14 times, open over 100 temples around the world, train over 5,000 students, and write and translate over 100 volumes of books. And this is all due to the help of many of the dear students that came to assist him. And so today we have a direct disciple of our dear Guru, Srila Prabhupada. This is His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. He's a direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And not only did he assist in presenting the teachings of Bhakti all around the world, but he was very instrumental in actually the production of Srila Prabhupada's books, making sure the books were published and distributed. And so today we asked him if he could please speak on his book. It's a book called Vanity Karma. Vanity Karma is a book about a very philosophical section of the Bible called Ecclesiastes. And it's just like our books, more deep philosophical sections, just like the broad Vedas have the Upanishads. So some really primary literatures that have this one section called Ecclesiastes. It has a book called Vanity Karma. It won a Benjamin Franklin Gold Award. He's the author of that book. So we'd like to give a nice round of applause. Welcome him.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanjana Shalakaya Chakshun Miditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadhati Shapadantikam Bande Hang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raganathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Sri Vishakan Vitamstra E Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitan Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari. How's that? Good?
Yes.
Okay. So Vanity Karma, as mentioned, is a full-length verse-by-verse commentary on a biblical book, Ecclesiastes, a book of the Old Testament of the Bible, from the point of view of the Bhagavad Gita and Vedic knowledge. As mentioned, Ecclesiastes is a profoundly philosophical text. It opens with the words, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Vanity in this context doesn't mean pride. It means uselessness. As when we say that his efforts were all in vain. It means for nothing, useless, meaningless, pointless. So the author of Ecclesiastes, in the, the first sentence of the book, declares that everything is vanity. Not some things, but everything, our whole life. And he sets out to make his case. Oh, that's good. And I've, spoken many times of from different parts of the book, because there's so much in the book, and also because we have a lot to say about everything in the book. Maybe I'll take something. Am I in the right place? Let me just correlate where I am with where I think I am. Okay, that's why. The I'll take a passage. And moreover, I saw under the sun, there in the place of justice, wickedness. In the place of righteousness, wickedness there. I said in my heart, the righteous and the wicked, God will judge. For there's a time there for every purpose and for every work. I said in my heart in regard to men, God is testing them so they may see that they are but beasts. For what happens to men and what happens to beasts are the same. As the one dies, so dies the other. They all have one breath, and man has no advantage above the beast, for all is vanity. I might start actually by asking that you check your cell phones and see that they're in silent mode, and also that you please keep your cell phones in your pocket. I've noticed a trend in the world lately that people will come to a class or come to see the deity, and they'll be texting their way through the class and I don't know, checking out their Facebook feed or whatever, and then that distracts the speaker, and then everything goes to hell. So if you would keep your pocket phones in your pocket, that would be great. So they're all beasts. As one dies, so dies the other. They all have one breath, and man has no advantage above the beast, for all is vanity. All go to one place, all are from the dust, and to dust all return. Who knows whether the spirit of man goes upward and the spirit of the beast goes downward to the earth? And so I perceived that there's nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his works, for that is his portion. For who will bring him to see what will be after him? So there's a lot here, and sort of our first job is to unpack it and say, well, what actually is he saying? That's what I do throughout the book. Task one is to just sort out what the text means in its own context. And then task two is to comment on it from the point of view of the Vedic sages. So in the beginning, he says that he saw that in the place of justice, there's wickedness. In the place of righteousness, wickedness. So the commentators have said that that place is the court. And Bhagavatam also comments that in Kali Yuga, the only way you'll get justice in the court is by paying for it. So that's nothing new. The author here, his name is Kohelet, sees that that the courts are corrupt. You can't really expect justice there. Then he says, well, the righteous and the wicked God will judge, for there's a time there for every purpose and for every work. There's a time there. It's not clear where there is. But it says, all right, God will judge everybody. But then he sees elsewhere in the book that although God is supposed to judge everybody, the judgment seems pretty erratic. Let's see. There's quite a famous passage about that. Yeah. Throughout the book, he complains of a sort of absurdity to the world we live in. Things don't make sense. Things seem arbitrary, erratic, and therefore absurd or senseless. And here's a classic statement of that. I turned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to them all. So that's the statement. It's not that the best runner wins the race. It's just whoever gets there first, and we don't know who it's going to be. The person who's most expert may not come out ahead. Everything seems arbitrary and therefore pointless. So where's the justice in that? And where's God's arrangement if everything is haphazard and arbitrary? A feature of the book, or a feature, yes, a feature of the book, is that the author sees everything within the bookends of birth and death. He sees everything as tallied up within the scope of one lifetime. For him, there's no previous life, and there's not even a future life. That's another theme which we can come to some other time. His views of the afterlife are also quite something. But he sees everything basically within this life. So everything has to make sense within one lifetime. And it doesn't. That's clear. You get some Nazi who is responsible for the deaths of thousands of people, and he retires to Argentina and lives a comfortable life into his old age. Where's the justice? And there are so many examples that we could give along those lines. So God will judge, but when and where and how? It doesn't seem, he says it, but whether he believes it or not is another question, because it doesn't seem to work. And that vexes him sorely, because then you get absurdity in life, you get meaninglessness, you get a life that doesn't make any sense. You work hard and then you lose everything. Where's the justice in that? You work hard and somebody else steals what you worked for, and you die in poverty. So where's the justice? Hare Krishna. And we would have to say that if we take Kohelet's one life framework, it's an unsolvable problem. Life doesn't make sense. Life isn't fair. Of course, we don't look at life from a one lifetime perspective. From the Bhagavad Gita, we understand that the life that we're in is one life out of thousands of lifetimes. We're coming and going. Avyakta adini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata. Avyakta nidanyeva tachaka parideva. First we're not seen, then we're seen, then we're not seen again. Before our birth, unseen. Then we're born, we live for some time, we're visible in this world, and then again unseen. Because we're traveling from one life to the next. The unseen doesn't mean non-existent. Srila Prabhupada used to give the example that there's a horse runs by your window. Of course, in New York City, the horse won't run by your window, but a horse or a car races past your window, and you don't see it until it's right in the window. But that doesn't mean that it didn't exist before it reached your window, or that it will cease to exist once it runs past. But we only see it in the interim. So we only see this one lifetime, but that doesn't mean that we come into existence at the beginning of our beginning of this life and cease to exist at the end. The Jayate Mriyate Va Kadachan in the Bhagavad Gita, there is no birth or death for the soul, the Atma, the living being. He has no death, he has no birth. But he's placed in this body where there's birth and death. But if we don't see that, if we don't understand that, then life is going to look exceedingly unfair. If we do understand it, then we say, all right, one is suffering in this life or enjoying in this life on account of previous activities. Why is one person born wealthy, another person born poor, one person born brilliant, one person born foolish? Or if we think that there's only one life and then the judgment, why is it that we don't get an equal shot at it? You only get this one life, and in this life, if you surrender to the Son of God or you surrender to God, then you go to heaven. And if not, well, tough luck. You'll be in eternal hellfire and so on. Well, all right, that's how it is. But then why the unfairness? Why is one person born, I'm born in a nice Christian family, and we read the Bible every day, and we say grace before meals, and we celebrate all the Christian holidays, and then at the end I go to heaven. And someone else, he's born in an atheistic, he's born in Russia during the communist regime, and believing in God is stupidity, and so on and so on. And so he gets brought up according to those cultural views and goes to hell at the end. So where's the justice in that? We only get one shot, and the deck is stacked. The chances are not evenly distributed. Or in Kohelet's pre-Christian view, there's no question of redemption by God's Son, but there's no question of redemption at all. We just live this one meaningless life, and everything happens just by chance, and then it's over. So without an understanding of multiple lifetimes or endless lifetimes, what goes on will seem senseless and cruel and arbitrary. But if one has a higher understanding, then things can make sense. So then he says that he offers one reason at least why everyone's going through such trouble. God is testing us, testing human beings to show us that we're just beasts. that we're no better than animals. Hmm? For what happens to men and what happens to the beast are the same. They live, we live, they die, we die. As one dies, so dies the other. They all have one breath. There's no difference between my breathing and the dog's breathing. He breathes, I breathe. He eats, I eat. He sleeps, I sleep. So how are we different from the beast? So man has no advantage above the beast, and this is all absurd, meaningless, vain. All go to one place. All are from dust, and to dust they all return. We go to the same death that the animal goes to. Where the greatest man is the pinnacle of evolution, or he's God's greatest creation, or what have you, and we go to the same dust that the animal goes to. Mm-hmm. The Bhagavatam also observes that we think that it observes that we have three destinations: earth, ashes, or excrement. Because if the body is buried, then earth. And if the body is burned, then ashes. And if the body is thrown to the dogs or the vultures, then excrement. So, and it doesn't matter which body it is, human body, dog body. So Kohelet looks at it and says, how are we better than the animals? The Bhagavatam looks at it and says that if we think that we're this body, then we are no better than animals. Yasyatma buddhi kunape vidhatuke saiva gokara. If I think that I'm this body, this body which is meant to become ashes or earth, so on, then I'm a fool. Bhagavatam says I have no better intelligence than the intelligence of the cow or the ass, because the ass is also thinking, I'm an ass. And we're thinking, I'm CEO of Omnibus Corporation. But no difference. We both go to the same destination. Then he says, who knows whether the spirit of man goes upward and the spirit of the beast goes downward to the earth? So this is as far as he gets. Is there does the living being survive death? And does the man survive death and go upward? Does the beast go downward? Who knows? That's the most he'll give it. This is as far as he goes, as far as understanding a separate existence of the living being, the life force, the soul within the body. Who knows? Well, that's and he's a very wise man. When you read Ecclesiastes, you'll find it's a book of profound thought, profound wisdom, the work of a very deep thinker, troubled by the disparities he finds in this world. But on this issue, he's well, the Vedic literature would be stern with him and say that he's a fool because he's only seeing the body and not seeing the self within the body, or the most that he'll give it is, well, who knows? So, I've given a little sample of some of the issues raised by Ecclesiastes. There's much more. It's a short book, really, 12 chapters, and chapters are 20 verses, 30 verses. So there's a short book, a few pages, but with great, going to real questions, not how can we up our Facebook ratings or something, Facebook likes, but deep questions about the life. Does it have meaning? What could be the meaning? What should we do with our life? So many questions are raised and many profound observations are offered. But on these ultimate questions, one very good commentator has said that the speaker of the book is a confused wise man. Oh, you're missing out here.
Oh, me? Oh, no, I'm trying to record.
You're doing what?
Are you telling me?
Yes.
Well, I just got here. Let me turn on my recording device.
I see. Wonderful. No, let her record. After all that money spent on a phone, and then if you can't record, what is the use?
That felt a meaning.
Sorry?
I think
Okay.
then that felt a meaningless.
Yes, everything is vanity, including my iPhone 32. This is true tragedy in life. And thank you for coming. Yes, so maybe we'll see if there's some thoughts or questions that you might have. No.
I just want to apologize for being late. Zionist hackers have been keeping me from this. I came all the way. I came all the way from New Jersey. Okay, I came all the way from New Jersey. I always come from New Jersey. Okay, so the Zionists have been hacking me, so I can't even upload my videos because I already know my purpose in life. My purpose in life is to save Palestine. That's why I'm here, because my purpose in life is to save Palestine. And I'm late because Zionist hackers have been keeping me from uploading my video, my content, because I'm making a YouTube channel as the Joker. Hi, welcome to my lair. I'm the Joker. Now what are you gonna do? Because I'm an actor.
I see.
Yes, so I have power. I'm an actor. I'm in the entertainment industry. I work at Blood Manor, New York City's #1 premier haunted attraction. Okay? I'm an entertainer. My mission in life is to infiltrate Zionist Hollywood because, yes, Hollywood is owned by Zionists, and I will infiltrate Zionist Hollywood. Why? Because I was already in a musical with Rachel Zegler. Who is Rachel Zegler? Well, she's starring as Snow White in Disney Snow White. I don't know if you've ever heard of Snow White. They're coming out with a live-action version of Snow White.
Well, I don't know much about Snow White.
It's okay. Don't watch it because they put a Zionist industry plant, Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot is a Zionist industry plant. They're forcing this evil Zionist onto us. You have to boycott that movie. Do not watch it.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, they don't deserve to make any effing money.
I think you're right. I'm just not going to, I'm not going to go to see that movie.
No, do not.
Okay, you persuaded me. Thank you.
too. Thank you. A good speech.
I love you, Rachel Zegler. We will work together again when I direct her as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Because everybody knows that she's going to play AOC one day. And when she plays AOC, I will
Okay.
be directing her. All right, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Soon. And we won't get into the Seven Dwarfs because we know who they're working for too. Okay.
I think I have a question,
Yes.
a real question. The question about is like if we know that the Vedic literature believes in the previous life and the afterlife and what happens to us even though we don't get the fulfillment in this life. Maybe if you do a lot of good in this, hopefully in the future we get a better life. But KLA says if there's only one life, if you enjoy this life, be a materialist. Like the Charvaka said, be a materialist. And then you have the whole class of people who are atheists and like a whole population of China, maybe 1.5 billion people are atheists and they're doing very well for themselves. So my question is, where does religion fit in if atheists, the entire country of atheists can do excellent, be number 2 in the world? Is religion very important?
No. Let's see if I have your question first. That we have, well, let's see, we have people who are atheists and materialists, and they seem to be doing very well. And so, is there any point of religion?
Well, KLA basically says, yeah.
Okay. The Kohelet takes the point of view that, yeah, you may do great, you may be number 2 in the world, you may be number 1, but at the end you're going to die. And then what is your wealth, your accomplishment, your corporate edge amount to? It amounts to nothing. You worked hard your whole life with skill, with attention, with great, even undergo hardship, and then you die. So what does it come to? Or you build up a fortune. He says you work diligently, you build up a fortune just so that your descendants can squander it. All that money that you worked so hard for, they just lose. So then what was the point of your working so hard? And yes, we can enjoy some pleasure, but Kohelet says, what pleasure do we get? And even he says, better is the house of mourning than the house of feasting. Because those who are mourning have their heads screwed on straight. They can see, they're sober, they can see what's going on. Those who are in the house of feasting are all giddy and woo. They're more foolish. So what is the use of being wealthy and foolish? Or wealthy and wise? He said, I became the wisest person. And as one commentator said, he became wiser than it was wise to be. Because he saw that the wise man and the fool both go to the same destination. So what's the point? So from Kohelet's point of view, even if you're an atheist, what's the point then? I become the best atheist, the most famous atheist, the richest atheist, and I die with everybody else. So what's the point? If you're a materialist, everything is finally, you can boil it all down to ones and zeros, right? It just comes to if you could describe it all, in theory you can. You describe your whole life, it's just a sequence, a pattern of ones and zeros. If I shoot you, that just changes, a few digits this way or that way. Or you shoot 10,000 people, you drop bombs on the heads of 10,000 undeserving people. That's now you shifted your life from 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0 to 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. That doesn't make any difference. And religion doesn't make any difference either, because it's just another pattern of meaningless activities. So if we see within the bodily conception of life, I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm Israeli, I'm Palestinian, I'm white, I'm black, I'm this, I'm that, then we're missing the point, because we're only seeing the body and not seeing the self within the body. So the religion for the sake of material advancement is also meaningless. And no religion, just material advancement, that's also meaningless. So Kohelet doesn't seem too far off the mark when he says that everything is meaningless, everything is vanity. It's only if we take the existence of the spiritual spark within the body into account that life assumes any meaning. Or it's only if we take transcendence and ultimately Krishna into the picture that everything has meaning. Otherwise, Kohelet is completely right. And so the Chinese are, they're up to, now today America's up. Before it was England that was up, the United Kingdom. Then before that, there was Spain, there was Portugal, there was Rome. There was this dynasty, that dynasty. Where are they all now? So what does it amount to? Their great dynasties, their great empires, their great accomplishments. So without spiritual consciousness, our life is useless. That's the conclusion. With or without so-called religion. Religion just aimed at economic development and enjoyment of the senses is a useless waste of time. People go pray in the church. Please let this deal go through. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Something else? Yes. How life is useful in Krishna consciousness? It's useful in the sense that a clock hand is useful in the clock. If you have a clock hand and it's lying on the floor, it's a useless scrap of metal or plastic, depending on the quality of your clock. But it's useless. But that same clock hand in the clock is significant. Now it's an hour hand or a minute hand, and lying on the ground is nothing. So our life has meaning in relationship to Krishna. And when we separate it from Krishna, when we look the other way, away from Krishna, then our life is meaningless. All the great causes for which we live, all the great dramas, all the great loves, all the great accomplishments, the novels, the Facebook likes, it all comes to nothing. So minus Krishna, everything is useless. And in relationship to Krishna, everything has meaning. Krishna is the complete whole. If we separate ourselves from the whole, then we're nothing. And if we integrate ourselves with the whole, then meaningful. Something else? Yes, Michael.
Maharaj, why isn't just being a good person, not causing any karma, not good enough for yourself?
Why isn't just being a good person enough? Being a good person not causing any karma. Well, several reasons. First is, why is just being a good clock hand on the floor not enough? That's one answer. If we're disconnected from reality, Krishna means the supreme reality. If we're disconnected from reality, why isn't it enough to be a good person disconnected from reality? And that's one answer. And another answer is, what kind of good? I'm a good person. That's all. Every one of us is a good person in our own eyes. The notorious mobster Al Capone, I'm told he was in prison. The feds caught up with him. He was imprisoned. And he complained at the injustice of it all. He said, I just tried to give the people of Chicago a good time. Liquor rackets, prostitution rackets, so on. Yeah. Why are they after me? I just tried to give the people of Chicago a good time. But every one of us is living at the expense of others. We're exploiting others. Even unknowingly, you walk on the grass and you've just killed, 30 ants at one go. What is that good person? Good person means I'm the center and others are relative to me, so I use everyone for my own advantage. But I'm a good person. I do it nicely. I'm polite. I'm balanced. I'm ethical. But my business is still to prosper at the expense of others. So what kind of good person? Good person means by a kind of mental concoction. Prabhupada gives the Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Dvaite Bhadra Bhadra Gyan e Manodharma, e Balo e Manda e Shabrahma. The meaning is, when we're in the world of duality, in the world of material existence, then this is good, this is nice, this isn't nice. This is all a product of the mind. It's all illusory. Prabhupada gave the example that, in third world countries, people don't have flush toilets and all of that, so we have the fields. And so the fields get little filled up with excrement. But you have to walk through that part of that field to do your business. So someone is careful to walk where the stool is dry, because the dry stool is better than the wet stool. So this is our distinction between good and bad. The dry stool is good. Something else?
So, why would we even have the drive to try it? to try anything if the game is rigged?
If the game is rigged, why do we or should we strive? No good reason. And therefore people are frustrated and depressed. Therefore the author of Ecclesiastes is in what's the word, angst, because he sees that why am I working so hard when everything's going to be lost, when it doesn't have any meaning? And he doesn't just sort of throw that out as a slogan. He demonstrates it by argument that my life is meaningless. So under those circumstances, yes, why work? Why strive? Why care? And people sense this and they go into depression. I worked so hard to build this up and then I lost it. I loved this girl and then she, spit on me and tossed me out. I loved my husband and then he was hit by a car and died. I served my country and then they unjustly accused me of treason and threw me in jail. This, that. Well, why live in this kind of world? And therefore people become frustrated. People become depressed. My student Madhupati in New Jersey, used to work for Merck Pharmaceuticals, big company. I asked him, what are they working on? Learn something. What are they working on? He said, their main focus is antidepressants. Because I think 3 out of 5 Americans is clinically depressed. The richest country in the world, order it before 5 and it'll be on your desk the next morning. And I'm clinically depressed. Because that's what it is. It's depressing. If I don't have access to spiritual wisdom, if I don't have access to a relationship with the ultimate reality, if I don't have Krishna consciousness, then life is meaningless or worse than meaningless. If it would just be meaningless, that would be bad, but it's meaningless and miserable. Meaningless and grossly unfair. These are the perceptions of this sensitive and thoughtful philosopher. He looks at life and he says, yeah, we just go to work. And he keeps coming up with a solution, actually. He keeps coming back to the idea then, well, enjoy. We don't get very much. We struggle like anything. But anyway, God has given us some little bit of enjoyment, so enjoy. But he's already demonstrated in the beginning of his book that the enjoyment is meaningless. So therefore, a confused wise man. The enjoyment, he shows that the enjoyment is pointless. They're fools enjoying. But wisdom is also pointless. So everything in his book becomes meaningless. If we go to reductionistic science, we get the same sort of conclusion. Everything is just the laws of atoms working at random. Whether they're neurons or they're this or that, they're organized or they're this, but it's all finally coming from chance. And so nothing ultimately means anything. Chance, by the way, is no explanation. We've talked about this before. Have we talked to, have I, no, I'll mention it again, I guess, because maybe I haven't talked about it with this audience. If science tells us, or some scientists tell us, some thinkers tell us, everything is just by chance. Life arises by chance. Human life evolves by chance. The earth is exactly the right place in relation to the sun by chance. Everything's a result of chance. Right? Is that what they say? Do I have it reasonably? Yeah, that's what they say. And it's all rubbish because chance does not cause anything. This is a point in which I was in ignorance, and I got straightened out by my late godbrother, Sadhaputta Prabhu, who was a mathematician, and who explained to me that chance is just a description, not a cause. And we do something, we flip a coin 100 times or 10,000 times, and then we record the results and we say there's a 50% chance that it will come up heads, 50% tails. But 50% doesn't cause the coin to come up heads or tails. And maybe I'll give a better example. Let's say Google weather, or whoever you're using, says that tomorrow there's an 80% chance of snow. Chance of, is, not even. There's an 80% chance of snow tomorrow. So who among us will say, if it snows tomorrow, that it snowed because the chances of snow were 80%? Right? That's not a cause, it's a description. Take another one. Who knows a couple that's been divorced? Okay, you do. You're the only one? No.
No.
And all of us, right? We all know someone who's been divorced. In my extended family, there's divorces. And what's the divorce rate in America? Usually we hear 50%. That means the chance is 50%, let's say. Don't hold me to it, but 50% chance that a couple that marries today will eventually divorce. Now, when Terry and Susan divorce, is it because there was a 50% chance that they would divorce? In the city of New York, it was only running 47%, and therefore Terry and Susan had to join a group destined to even out the numbers? No. It's because he was a creep or she was a witch, or something happened, and that, yeah, there's a cause. There are reasons why people divorce, good reasons, bad reasons, but there's a reason. It's not just because there's a 50% chance and that's what caused them to split up. That's stupid. So this idea that chance is responsible for everything is stupid or senseless, or, to be nice, just invalid. It's not true, because chance is not causative. It doesn't make things happen. It's just a description of the way things happen. So we need to find another cause for what happens in the world. And Bhagavad Gita says the ultimate cause is Krishna. But we don't accept Krishna. We come up with this chance as being the answer, the explanation, the trump card that on which we build our atheistic worldview, but it's all a bluff. This chance doesn't do anything. I'm just getting back at my high school teachers. Yes. Wrap up. Yes. Thank you.
Can everyone give a round of applause?
Hare Krishna.
So now we're gonna have a little kirtan, and then we're gonna serve prasadam.
What's prasadam?
Hmm?
What's prasadam?
What's prasadam?
Yeah, what is that?
Prasadam, if anyone doesn't know, is
Anyone, if people don't know.
spiritual food. So it's food that's been offered and cooked in a certain consciousness, just like everything we do. We try to do with consciousness, since it's a center for Krishna consciousness. So we have a feast prepared for everybody, vegetarian foods and different preparations.
Offered to who?
Offered to God, Krishna.
Who's to God? How do you do this offer?
So we're gonna do that in a second, but I think first we can have some kirtan. If everyone wants to stand up, we're gonna do a standing kirtan, the other style of kirtan. We're sitting kirtan, and a standing kirtan. And I'm just asking my friend, this is Wally, showing me.
Krishna, Krishna. And some people will ask, we have books on this.
Oh, I forgot to say.
Ryan, can you tell about the book just real quick that their books are available?
And one last announcement before we start the kirtan. If I have everyone's attention, I just want to also promote that Maharaja's book, Vanity Karma, which covers this exact topic that he was speaking about today, Ecclesiastes, the relationship between the Bhagavad Gita and Ecclesiastes. And a lot of the profound wisdom that he shared with us today is in this book. And it's a really wonderful read. We have a whole collection of them on the table outside, and we're accepting certain donations to them. So if anyone would like to talk with Jagannath Sutta, you can meet with him outside. He's very easy to find because he's dressed in bright orange. So come to him and you can ask him, and he'll help you get one of these books, which I highly recommend to take home and read.
And if you need a signature.
And also, if you'd like a signature, Maharaja is here, so he can also maybe give you a signature, some personal words of wisdom to go with that.
Okay, let's get.